Independent monitors say 4,000 people have been arrested across Russia as they take part in unauthorized protests demanding the release of jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny. In Moscow, the police closed metro stations and blocked off the city centre. Among those detained in Moscow were his wife, Yulia Navalnaya. She was picked up near the Moscow prison where Alexei Navalny himself is being held. The WHO team investigating the origins of coronavirus has visited the market linked to the first outbreak in the Chinese city of Wuhan. International experts also examined a cold storage facility to inspect the handling of frozen food. The 100-year-old British Army captain Sir Tom Moore, who raised tens of millions of pounds for the NHS in England and was knighted by the Queen, has been taken to hospital with pneumonia. In a statement on social media, his daughter said her father had tested positive for coronavirus last week.
Pope Francis marks the 76th anniversary of the freeing of the World War II death camp in Auschwitz, Poland. German Nazi forces killed more than 1 million Jews there. Myanmar begins COVID-19 vaccinations with a supply of AstraZeneca's drug donated by India. Ahmad Syed Omar Sheikh admits to a Pakistani appeals court that he played a part in the 2002 murder of American reporter Daniel Pearl. Sheikh described his involvement as minor. And Indonesia's Mount Merapi explodes on the island of Java, releasing melted rock and clouds of ash.
Protests across Russia continued for a second weekend, and the government again responded with force. Demonstrators were demanding the release of opposition figure Alexei Navalny. A human rights group says more than 3,000 people were detained during rallies that took place on Sunday in at least 80 cities. More than 4,000 people are believed to have been rounded up in the previous protest on January 23rd. In the far eastern city of Vladivostok, demonstrators marched out onto the frozen sea after security forces detained protesters in the city square. In mid-January, Navalny was arrested in Moscow for parole violations upon returning from Germany. He fled to Berlin to receive medical treatment after being poisoned in Russia last summer. The protesters are not only calling for Navalny's release, but are also making other demands. Frustration is building among young people over a range of grievances. These include a stagnant economy and the handling of the coronavirus pandemic.
Neither salaries nor social support from the government are enough. The government needs to be replaced so people can talk with their leaders.
With parliamentary elections scheduled for September, the Putin administration appears to be trying to bring the protest movement to an early end. Turkey and Russia have joined together to set up an observation center to monitor a ceasefire between Azerbaijan and Armenia. They have been fighting over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijan is backed by Turkey, while Armenia is allied with Russia. The peace deal was reached last November. It was brokered by Russia after more than 5,600 people had been killed in a 6-week conflict. The Deputy Defense Minister of Turkey, along with his Russian counterpart, attended a ceremony on Saturday. They called for peace and stability in the region. The two countries will send up to 60 military personnel each and use drones to monitor the ceasefire. But concerns remain that the fighting will resume. Some Armenians are not satisfied with the deal and believe that it favors Azerbaijan. Experts from the World Health Organization have visited a seafood market in Wuhan that was at the center of the world's first major outbreak of the coronavirus. The visit was part of an inspection that began on Friday with the aim of identifying the origins of the pandemic. Chinese health officials had indicated the virus may have come from the market's wildlife section. The market has been closed to foreign media since it was shut down in January last year. Earlier on Sunday, the WHO team visited another market in Wuhan. Chinese officials say this market started supplying food to residents in February last year, soon after the city's lockdown began. On Saturday, the experts also visited an exhibition showcasing what the Chinese government portrays as a successful containment effort. Beijing is apparently trying to justify the actions it took and counter international criticism that its initial response to the coronavirus was slow. The South Korean government says it is introducing a special 2-week period of extra coronavirus precautions over the Lunar New Year holidays.
The government has decided to keep current distancing and antivirus measures in effect for the next 2 weeks. A ban on gatherings of 5 or more people will be extended until the end of the Lunar New Year holidays.
The additional measures start on Monday and last until February 14th. Train tickets will be sold only for window seats, and eating and drinking will be banned at rest areas along expressways. The decision comes after a series of cluster infections occurred during the past week. Recently, the country is experiencing a downtrend in daily new cases below 400, compared to more than 1,000 in early January. Turning to the coronavirus situation here in Japan, where the state of emergency for multiple prefectures is scheduled to end on February 7th. The number of new confirmed cases is trending downward. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government confirmed 633 new cases in the capital on Sunday. The daily tally has remained below 1,000 for 3 days in a row.
This is a crucial time for everyone to share the same stance and to go a step further to prevent people from getting infected or infecting others.
The number of confirmed cases nationwide is also trending downward. The figure fell below 3,000 on Sunday. The government is set to decide whether to extend the state of emergency after hearing from experts on Monday or later. But some officials think it may be difficult to lift the measure in all 11 prefectures at the same time. Japan's healthcare system remains under severe pressure as hospitals struggle to cope with an influx of coronavirus patients. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force began providing medical support at a nursing home in Miyakojima City on Sunday, following a request by the Okinawa prefectural government. A total of 40 people at the home, including 27 residents, were infected with the coronavirus. 5 SDF nurses will help them with medication, bathing, and meals, as well as monitoring their health. Miyakojima has a population of about 55,000. The city reported more than 110 cases in the 5-day period through Saturday. One of Japan's Shinkansen bullet train operators is hoping a unique new service will boost demand. This comes at a time when the coronavirus pandemic is wreaking havoc on ridership. The East Japan Railway Company is setting aside some carriages on its Tohoku Shinkansen trains for exclusive teleworking usage by passengers before they arrive at their destinations. The operator is launching the pilot project on Monday. Passengers will be able to use special carriages to talk freely on mobile phones and hold teleconferences on their laptops. Such modes of communication are usually frowned upon on bullet trains in Japan, except in designated areas. The company is offering sound masking technology for privacy, and it's also providing Wi-Fi routers free of charge. Some of the high-speed trains will offer one telework carriage on each train run on weekdays through February 26th at no additional charge. JR East says the pandemic caused its Shinkansen train occupancy to drop by about 60% last December from a year earlier. Japanese electronics giant Panasonic has decided to stop producing solar cells. The company is facing financial difficulties due to intense competition from Chinese rivals. Panasonic will stop making the cells at its factories in Malaysia and Japan's Shimane prefecture by March 2022. The firm ended joint production of solar cells with U.S. electric vehicle maker Tesla last year. Panasonic used to be one of the global leaders in the solar cell market, helped by the growing interest in renewable energy. But the company lost market share to cost-competitive Chinese manufacturers and has been in the red since fiscal 2016. Panasonic will continue to sell solar panels using cells sourced from other manufacturers. Those were the stories for this hour.
The coronavirus pandemic, the CDC taking a new step to stop the spread, announcing a mask mandate on all public transportation nationwide. And tonight, the race to the vaccine as those variants spread across the country. That highly contagious South African variant now reported in Maryland as well as South Carolina. Nashville transforming the Music City Center downtown into a mass vaccination site today. They're planning to do 2,000 shots a day. The Texas National Guard administering vaccines in the Rio Grande Valley. But to stop the spread, the CDC is now imposing that nationwide mask mandate on all public transportation, from airplanes to taxis, starting Monday night. The toll continues to climb. More than 438,000 lives have been lost. January with more than 90,000 deaths, the worst month yet. The Latino community in Los Angeles hit especially hard. Deaths there increasing 1,000% since November. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, thousands lining up for the shot, from Colorado to Texas to Massachusetts, racing to get vaccinated as the U.S. surpasses 26 million confirmed coronavirus infections.
We treat it as liquid gold, and we're not letting any dose go unused.
More states transforming major sites like the Music City Center in Nashville into mass vaccination hubs.
The goal for this space was to be anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000, but that's all based on vaccine availability.
And the National Guard now mobilizing in Texas, delivering shots to rural areas with wait lists of thousands.
So we've done this mission a few times. This is the first time we're actually doing it with civilians.
The CDC now instituting a nationwide mask mandate on planes, trains, buses, and taxis, threatening fines for maskless passengers as mutations of the virus are spreading across the country. The South Africa variant, already detected in South Carolina, today confirmed in Maryland. A Brazilian variant detected in California and Minnesota. And there's now hundreds of confirmed cases of the UK variant in at least 32 states.
And I believe that we should be treating every case as if it's a variant.
But a new vaccine could be on the near horizon. Trials show Johnson & Johnson's vaccine 85% effective against severe disease and as much as 100% effective at preventing hospitalization and death. This plant in East Baltimore already making millions of doses in anticipation of Johnson & Johnson applying for emergency use authorization next week. Nationally, just shy of 50 million authorized vaccine doses have been distributed so far, with 29 million shots administered. The rollout still plagued by shortages, lengthy lines, and website sign-up errors.
And here it is in black and white, the schedule.
Marie Biondi Lieber was one of several who booked appointments in Boston, only to be turned away upon arrival.
They said, sorry, wrong day. They said, excuse me, but it was confirmed at 5:33, and you were given an appointment. Oh, well, computer error.
And in New Jersey, Denise Persichetti was able to get her mom the first dose, but hasn't been able to book the second shot.
I've called several times. My mom is 83. She has no access to the internet. She does not have a smartphone. She has no way to get an appointment from where she got her first dose.
More than 90,000 lives lost in January, making it the deadliest month of the pandemic. In Los Angeles, the death rate in the Hispanic community rising a staggering 1,000% since November.
I knew she was suffering, and just that was like breaking my heart.
Maria Lydia Hernandez Lopez was known as the miracle mom after giving birth to twins in a coma 20 years ago. She stunned doctors surviving then, but she did not survive coronavirus.
I'm definitely gonna remember her for just being the caring, beautiful, most strongest person I know.
And Trevor Ault joins us now from Yankee Stadium, which will become a mass vaccination site. Trevor, major cities like New York and Los Angeles are rolling back some restrictions, allowing restaurants to reopen soon, but they're trying to learn from past mistakes.
Well, they are, Tom. New York is going to be limiting restaurants to 25% capacity. And while Los Angeles County restaurants can serve people outside right now, they're not allowed to turn on their TVs. The idea is to keep people from staying there for too long. They don't want televised events like the Super Bowl next weekend to become super spreader events. Tom?
Trevor Ault for us tonight from New York. Trevor, thank you for that.